Welcome, CTD family. Happy Saturday. Lovely weather today after so much rain yesterday and early morning as well. November 9, 2024. Saturday. And in exactly 5 days, Connecting the Dots will observe its 4th year. CTD Connecting the Dots. Welcome to another family togetherness. Today we are having a shindig, because we are celebrating Nigel Francis Esquire. Keep it locked because we are going to get the scoop. Nigel will not be dodging any bullets today. Good morning, welcome. Our house is on Victoria Street. I'm in the Ted Daily Studio as I welcome you to yet another Connecting the Dots on DBS Radio. Okay, I think we are on, so let's go. So as I said, Nigel Francis is our guest. Nigel Francis Esquire, let me get this correctly. Nigel Francis is our guest, and he'll not be dodging any bullets today. Somebody's calling me, but we cannot take calls right now. We really can't take calls. Wow. It is that time again. Hey, look, I stick with, because I'm not sure if I should tell Nigel to come a while so early on the program, or if I should let him sit and wait because he's the guest. Boy. But I need someone to help me parlay before we begin the discussion. Too bad. I'm calling Nigel. Knock. Nigel Francis Esquire. Come a while, souple.
Hey, good morning.
And take the medal with you. When you come in, yes.
You want to see the medal still?
Yes. Let me see that shine, man. Let me see that shine, Nigel.
Hold on.
Okay, yes, get it. But Nigel, I should have sent you a memo, man, Nigel.
Yes, hold on. Let me see if I find it for you.
Okay, find it. It's Connecting the Dots, people. So Nigel Francis Esquire is just like getting his medal. You want to just see it. It's his day. He's the guest on Connecting the Dots today. And yes, the independence season is over. There was so much happening and it was so busy. I see Nigel taking his foot in DA. I think I'll ask Nigel how was it in independence, Or should I leave this question for the question and answer segment? You have it, Nigel?
Oh, yes. This is it right here. This is it.
All right.
You seeing it?
Nice, I'm seeing it too. It have,
Right.
You were so busy, I could not even put my hands on it for me to hold it.
You couldn't even touch it and hold it?
No. You were all over the place. Everybody wanted to hug you and all of that too.
It's right here.
Okay,
here.
nice.
It's right there.
Yes.
I won't pin it on for now because the president have to pin it again. But it's right there.
Nice.
What's up?
Well, I'm fine. Yes, so congratulations, Nigel, for what happened on the 4th of November and on the same platform, the same year with Thea Lafogatson. So that is big.
That made it even more special, right?
Yes, I'm not sure about what happened on the 5th of November, but I'm following the news still.
Well, I'm trying to recover still from the 5th.
Okay, so you're trying to recover from the 5th.
We had two things. We had big celebration on the 3rd, and then on the 5th, we had a different kind of a celebration. So,
okay, all right.
Yes, those things happen. Things happen. But it was a wonderful independence, man. It was great.
Yeah, nice.
I think overall the independence celebration was really good. I enjoyed every part of it, and I'm pretty sure that mostly everyone who returned home would have had a great independence season. All
right. Well, yeah. Nigel, but it was really a pleasure meeting with you and the family again. Thanks for the barrel, Nigel. I know Elise and Virginia and Carol as well, They just look out for me, so I am well pleased with the barrel.
Yes. They tell me they had to make sure they put some stuff in there,
Yes.
To represent you. So I'm happy they did that. And I brought it down on their behalf.
Yes, okay. Well, thank you so much. And let me also thank all the people that brought gifts, Nigel. too numerous to mention, so I'll leave it there. Winnie Green, but I have to say hi to Willie Green and Rosalind Sevray, and McLean and Catherine, Janice Litton, Alma, Giftus, John, Dr. Max.
They didn't give me anything though.
Okay.
They didn't send anything, bring anything from me. Yes, I guess they probably didn't know I was going to be there, so they didn't bring anything. They left everything. The only Saturday I was in studio, nobody brought anything for you. It's like, man, I don't know what's going on.
You tell us. But Nigel, you were so busy all over the place doing outside broadcasts and meeting people like a big time celebrity. You don't even have time to read a newscast or sportscast for us or some announcement or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was available, but, I guess, in between, things happen, but I was available and I'll make myself available in the next visit again.
Yeah, thanks.
So, I'm telling you now so you can prepare accordingly.
Okay. But yes, no, Nigel, you are the guest man today. So why do I have you talking so much? We may parley, so that's all right.
For real, I'm the guest.
Of course you are the guest. You have to take your seat as a guest, You have to take your seat as a guest today,
Okay.
Yes, but I still need Yes, but I need company to talk still.
You always do. We'll chit chat. We'll talk, and in between, you'll ask me 1 or 2 questions. I'll see if I can answer that.
You'll set my agenda. You'll set my agenda for me. You're the guest, and hold it there. As I said, I need to talk to. So I need company to talk to because Nigel, the producer, said he would co-host with me, but he's a no-show. So we were supposed to co-host together and we would ask him the questions. But he's a no-show.
That's a lot of detentions. Last week was the same thing. This week again is the same thing. Something is wrong with him.
Yeah, something is wrong. Something is wrong.
Yes, we'll have to certainly have a discussion with him and find out what's going on.
But I'll demolate myself, man.
But of course. And both of us will be there talking and chit-chatting throughout the whole thing. We're good, man. We're all right. We're okay.
And if you see, I observe that you're receiving too many compliments there today, I'm leaving the program. Yes, I'm leaving the program. Because this happens too often. I mean, come on, Nigel. I'm taking a stand on this. Right?
You're taking a stand today.
Yes, I'm taking a stand.
I agree with you. So I won't tell you what's happening on the book because I don't want to say anything that's there. So I will leave that alone. I won't say anything that's happening on the book. And we will just chit-chat and talk and, we will share. How was DBS anniversary, by the way? Everything was good?
Yeah, it was good. It was low-key. Low-key, obviously, around that time. Yes. This year it was low-key, but yes, we remember, 1971 when DBS started. And to 2024, that's a lot, in terms of broadcasting, providing entertainment, education, and all of that. So, yes. So, Nigel, you tell me you're not going to... Who's on the book, by the way? Nigel, just help me out, with the book.
Who's on the book?
Before you become the guest.
Who's on the book? Frances Rock. But I'm not going to say what they say. I'm just going to say who's on the book. So, Frances Rock is there.
But my monitor not even on. Dean!
She wants to say congratulations. Verna St. Louis wants to say congratulations. Marvelyn Brady.
Congratulations to who?
Shields Joe wants to say congratulations to Nigel. Sharon Henderson says congratulations. Andrew Norris says good morning, Ibona and Nigel. Always here as always. Congratulations, Nigel, on your award. Hey, my former student Chris Boguno. What's up, my brother?
Yeah, man.
He says that's the best program on radio. Enough love to my teacher and neighbor.
Oh, you taught him as well. He was a trouble some boy at school, right?
Say that again.
He was a trouble some boy at school.
Well, Chris was Chris. I'm going to leave it like that. Chris,
Chris was the best back in the day.
I'm not going to say too much about Chris because but Chris was Chris.
Chris, tell me if you ever got a. Chris, send us a message. Tell me if you ever got a detention.
If Chris was not at school, then you would certainly know. So I think that sums it up, right?
Boy, he was just he was like wow. He was like teacher's pet, the teacher's pet. He was everybody's friend, He was just flamboyant young guy.
A good guy, man. He was always around, always helping, always want to be part of the activities. And like I said, if he wasn't there, you would know.
Yeah. So I can remember Anthony Lockhart because I think Chris was a year. I was a year ahead of Chris or two, and I can remember Anthony Lockhart saying at assembly, so time for the detention. Guess who then came up first? Yes, I am. But anyway.
I know oftentimes they would say Chris Boguno again.
Yes. Yeah. He enjoyed his school days. He enjoyed his school days. Yeah.
He enjoyed his school days,
Yes,
and that's
he
what
has
it's all
done very
about.
well for
That's what
himself.
it's all about.
Yeah, he has done very
That's what
well as well.
Oh yes,
very very well. When you can look back and realize probably you were very, not troublesome, but you was always in everything, and then look at how far you have come. That's good. So like I look back and see how shy I was, but
and
look
I
at
think
how
he's a lot more. I
Yeah.
think he's a lot more disciplined than he was back then. So that's a good thing.
Hey, Chris.
We can say that about him.
Of course. No hard feelings. No hard feelings.
Yes, but Agatha Joseph also wants to say good morning to you and good morning, congratulations. Hey, Noreen Joseph says she like your hair. So it's not me alone getting compliments. She says she like your hair. So good morning to you, Noreen. Of course, Winnie Green always locked on. That's normal.
That's normal. She paid me a visit, and she came bringing gifts.
I didn't see her. I think what happened was I think I was passing somewhere on the bayfront, and somebody kind of shouted my name. At the time I turned around, I couldn't find the person again, and then later on somebody sent me a text and said I was telling you hi. I think it might have been.
Yes.
It's one of those things,
Yeah. Winnie Green still looks, she's like a model, she just maintained this stature, this poise, this elegance. Yes.
Which is good. Which is good, yes.
Who's on again before we move on to my guest?
Let's see. Josephine John Lewis is on. Good morning to all. See to the family. Noreen says, Nigel, your former teacher sends congratulations. Noreen got my story outside there. Yes. Yes, thank you, Noreen. Albin Wa, of course, good morning. Congratulations on your award, Nigel. And somebody says, of course, Muriel is also on. She always is watching. Good morning to you, Muriel. Rosman Thomas, good morning. Alice Francis, good morning to you. Good to know that you're locked in as well. So,
yes.
We have the book is going.
And all you can stop saying congratulations now, As if that film trouble video. Nigel, so let us pray so I can bring on, we can bring on the guest. Well, I'll bring on the guest.
Yes,
you have the prayer close?
Yes.
Right.
So, Heavenly Father, creator of mankind and the universe, we thank thee for the gift of life today and the blessings you continue to bestow on your children. We seek your presence and intervention throughout this program. And we ask that you keep us connected always. We also pray for the success of the program, its coordinators and listeners, that they may find purpose and enjoy what we share. Bless our radio station and the nation, and may we grow to love and unite with each other, irrespective of our differences. All this we ask in your name, now and forever. Amen.
Amen.
And amen.
Yes, amen.
Yes.
So welcome to Connecting the Dots. 4 years ago, Nigel Francis Esquire and we bounced ideas, and we decided that we should design a program to celebrate the achievements of our people wherever they are. We have heard stories, we have seen the highs, we have seen the lows as well in the stories that we have brought across. Moon Dominic. So Nigel came up with the name Connecting the Dots, and let me just tell you, we are a very cool combo. I guess you can see that. We feed off each other in the program. Today, Nigel Francis is the guest. Long ago, I said I would interview Nigel. We tried something for about 10 minutes on one of the programs, 10 to 15 minutes, because at that time a guest was very late, so we had to make up for the time. Yes, but I knew deep down in my heart that we had to bring Nigel's story in the front burner. Nigel Francis Esquire has done a lot for the country. He has done a lot for Dominica. Long before Connecting the Dots came on board. Nigel was my teacher at the Dominica Grammar School as well. Nigel was and is still involved in the arts. He is a celebrated playwright, and he has done a lot for the theatrical arts in Dominica and in some parts of the region as well. Sports commentator, broadcaster. But I like to talk with. It's all right.
Keep going.
Nigel, I'm supposed to tell his story, but he even just running him off. But let me just say that though, Nigel Francis's contribution to Dominica's culture, to Dominica's development, if you look at it that way, and more so, Dominica's cultural heritage, and that strong desire that he has to connect Dominicans, make him a truly great Dominican. There was a time DBS Radio had a program, 100 Great Dominicans. We did not reach 100 though. We reached far, and I think Nigel should be included in this. I'm not just saying this because Nigel and I, we have a good bond. I'm saying this because I know this. So we welcome our guest, Nigel Francis Esquire. Nigel, you crying, man?
Yes.
Whoosh.
Yeah. I'm speechless. Yes. I don't think I can continue the program as a guest. I'm gonna go back as a co-host.
Nigel. By the way, CTD family, please help me with the question. Say, Nigel is the smart one, but his role is reversed. So I will need plenty help there today. Nigel Francis Esquire, good morning, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me and connecting the dots.
It's a pleasure to have you as the guest.
It's a pleasure to be on the program. I listen every Saturday. I listen to the program every Saturday. I listen to you and Nigel and the way all you interact and the way all you try to connect with your guests. So it's a pleasure to be on the program at last.
Yeah. Well, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to have you as a guest, Nigel. As I said, you have done so much, but we want to get the scoop. There are a lot of blanks I want you to fill for us. There are a lot of questions that I want to ask you. So let us get, right off the bat. Who is Nigel Francis? And let us start from the very beginning, what you can remember, even before preschool days, if you can remember that far. So give us an idea as to who Nigel Francis is, and then we'll go along.
Well, I'll tell you what, right? I think the Nigel Francis you see right now, in terms of my demeanor and the way in which I move around, I think this has always been the same Nigel Francis. Authentic, and basically what you see now is what you've always seen, and what you'll see is what you get, kind of a thing, So there's no put on, there's no difference in the way in which I interact and the way in which I behave, whether it's in a formal setting. Obviously, if it's in a formal setting, then there might be certain things that's said that I won't say here and so forth, But that's Nigel in a nutshell. In terms of me and the story, there have been many people who've been part of the story. I think I like to say I was probably conceived like during Carnival, and I'll tell you why, right? Because my birthday is in October, which is Independence.
And you were conceived during Carnival? What is
this? Yes.
Okay,
So Carnival, Carnival, I was conceived, and Independence, October, I was given birth, I was born. So I think from the very beginning, these are the two things that has been central to my life, Carnival and Independence. So from the beginning, I think there was that connection that was made, Of course, born in Roseau, grew up in Roseau and everything else, but still ensured that I had the opportunity, since my mom was from Portsmouth, still had the opportunity to, kind of have a little bit of the out-of-town experience, right? So for those who know King George District, I was born in that area, King George District, close to Astafans area there. And so Carnival was always part of the activities around us, because that's the road that's the Carnival route, right? So you would always hear the Carnival going on. You'd see all the different masquerades passing through. You'd run under the bed and hide, because them days there you were kind of scared, because it's a lot more terrifying than it is right now. So, grew up in that area, had a lot of nice memories of growing up, going, under power and stuff like that by the river, because it's close enough. So that's where it would be most of the days, going up Emsall side and diving on the cliff under power and enjoying the river bath and all the rest that there is to enjoy, Preschool, everyone is getting my whole story today. Preschool, Miss Burton School. So thanks to Miss Burton and, that school that she had, we went to preschool there. And did a little bit of the creche, but it was more preschool, more Miss Burton School. Had some wonderful teachers there, Miss Vigilant, who still happens to be teaching there, so good morning to her as well. I always say I had an experience in preschool that kind of stuck with me, right?
All right, that's good, because I was about to ask you to sing a song you remember from preschool days. Tell us the experience, and then you'll sing the song.
I'll tell you what it is. I'm not going to use the word smart. I'm going to say I was probably a little more advanced than some of the kids, right? So I'd always finish my work before. And I always found myself like scribbling or drawing stuff on the paper. And I remember one of those teachers actually took a ruler and gave me some blows on my knuckles. Because she said I was wasting time, when in fact I had already finished the work. But that teacher said you were wasting time. And I kind of felt at the time, although looking back now, I can probably say I think that's probably one of the reasons why my drawing skills kind of diminished. Because every time I picked up a pencil to draw, I remember those blows on the knuckles. So this is to say to other teachers out there, especially in the young formative years, it's important that you encourage your kids to explore what is it that they're exploring and to guide them accordingly, rather than to utilize it as a punishment method because they have, either finished the work or you feel that they're distracting the class. It might just be that they are looking for other avenues because they've already accomplished what they had to accomplish, and they're bored, so they're looking for other stuff to do. So to those in the preschool and the formative years, try to ensure that you guide the process as best as you can, right? So that was preschool, but it was great.
Did you have preschool graduation, by the way, at that time?
I don't remember having a preschool graduation, coming to think of it. I don't think so. You just kind of move on.
Okay, all right.
You know what I mean? So, that was preschool. And then, of course, I moved from King George Street to Kennedy Avenue, which is where I probably, spend most of my time. So in Kennedy Avenue, went to Rosa Boys School. And then, of course, Norrin Joseph. Yes, Norrin taught me at school. So went to Rosa Boys School, and again, Windsor Park. So that became the playground of everybody. That's where we would be almost every day, every afternoon. But Windsor Park at that time, of course, was where all the sporting activities took place. So that was where I kind of grew into the Kensborough thing, and the battles between Kensborough and Harlem. Football then was the biggest thing around. People in the park sitting all on the stands and everything else. So that was great, because it gave us the opportunity to, I guess, maybe explore our talents. I was pretty good in running, so took part in all the races you could think of, very fast at the time, and enjoy all the sporting activities, play cricket on the road like everybody else. Play football on the road, with little goal, small goal, and so on. So, all that was part of the formative years, cowboy Indians during Christmas time, day after Christmas, so it was good. Growing up was pretty good. I can't complain.
But at the Rosa Boys School, was school like a big thing for you then? Even I remember what you said about preschool, but when you reached the primary school level, and of course so much was happening because the river was there, the boys were there, the Windsor Park was there, cowboy and Indians and all of that. What about school? Was it like foremost on your mind then?
I think at the Rosa Boys School, I probably. And I'm going to say again, I don't know, it might have been that, I was a little more advanced. I hate to use the word.
Nigel, you're always a smart man. Let you just say
I was a little more advanced,
yes,
put it that way. And I think it's probably because in the environment that I was too, right? So although I was like on the road playing like everybody else and so on, I had a bigger brother who was kind of always guiding us, in terms of, so, hey, good morning to you, Reggie. Thank you. So, and my sister, of course, Frances. So that guidance was always there. So even if I was on the road playing and doing everything else, but there was always a focus on trying to ensure that you still, you were reading a lot more than other kids. Being involved in church stuff a lot more than other kids. So there was this beautiful balance that I had. So even to the point, and I'm going to share the secret for you now, right? Because you say you want to get some secrets. I'm going to give you a little secret. So even to the point where I guess people in the area referred to me as being fresh.
Nigel.
Yeah, you go. So for those who know me very well, people in the general area, my nickname is Freshers.
Oh yeah, where I come again, Nigel? Say it again.
So yeah,
your nickname back in the day was Freshers because you were Copa Weasel.
Yes, freshers, because the
Okay.
figure I was fresh. I wasn't, dealing with everything and being part of everything and having to go home to, when they were still on the road and not doing certain things and so on. So luckily, it never really affected me because, I actually embraced the name because, in a sense that it was more, to me, I looked at it on the positive side rather than that, being, as you say, fresh. So that kind of helped in terms of guiding through the process and ensuring that. So Rosa School was cool. I mean, it was breezing through. I had my little ins and outs, if with the principal at the time. I was froggy back then. But overall, I don't think I had any issues with any teachers. Things were pretty good. Did what I had to do, did my work as expected, and still got some opportunity to play around and have fun.
Let us go back to, because you said you were raised in that King George V Street, right, close to J.
Yes,
Stevens,
yes,
and
yes,
then you
yes,
went to
yes.
Kennedy Avenue. What can you remember though about that space, that community as a little boy? Apart from, of course, you going out with your friends, and playing and going to the river and all of that, but the community setting, what was it like?
I think it was one of kind of respect. It was one where um, whoever was older was able to tell you what and what not to do. Whoever was there at the time looked out for you and looked out for the rest of the family. So it wasn't a situation where if your mom, of course, grew up in a single household because it's just my mom. Dad visited here and there. My dad is St. Lucian, by the way. So it was a situation where whoever whoever else was there was the one that was responsible for you. And there was a lot of music around, by the way, because we were right next to one of the bands. Brian told you about it last week, right? That was rehearsing and practicing. So there was music around. Bands were playing. Everybody taking care of the younger ones that was there. So it was, to be honest, I can't think of anything negative that may have happened during that time. I think the community there was looking out for each other. It just open, it was free. You could, leave your house open, do what you had to do, go into the neighbor's house. They would come into yours and share. And it was just a nice communal vibes.
And then you went to King George. No, then you went to Kennedy Avenue. Was this more of a hot spot in terms of Roseau Central than than what King George V Street was back in the day?
Yeah,
was a lot more
definitely,
happening there? Was it more vibrant?
Definitely, because I mean, in Kennedy Avenue, you had Kennedy Avenue, Hillsborough Streets. You had Cox Street. You had all those streets combining together, right? So that was definitely, I mean, the hot spot now because it was a lot more activity was going on, especially like I said, because Windsor Park was right there. Of course, you had government headquarters there. You had I guess different people from different communities that was gathered there. So that allowed a lot more interaction. You know what I mean? So it was a lot more vibrant, definitely so.
Okay, and all that time you were still at primary school, right?
Yes. I was still at primary school. And then because of the fact that my mom, rest in peace, Mama, love you as always. My mom, of course, worked at the Hasbro Medical Center, right? So all of us kids, we would go there to help her in terms of doing the cleaning because she was the cleaner there. So we would go there and help her, clean all the offices, and get involved with the medical part of it. So because of that, there was a lot more interaction. I met a lot more people than I probably would not have met. She became like I guess a central figure in that area. So people that came to visit, came to do their visits and stuff would get to know her.
And your mom was affectionately known as what? Miss Maud? What was she
Miss
called?
Maud. Okay. Yes, Miss Maud. So everybody kept, knowing the name Miss Maud. And one of the interesting things about that is, as you just mentioned, Miss Moore, Mama was one of those people who was so loving and so welcoming and so open. And although we didn't have much, she found herself always wanting to give, right? So you will find in my story, my home became the home for many people. So my mom was probably one of the first set of people.
In fact, we have had quite a few guests who have alluded to that.
Yes,
knowing your mom, and could go home and get food and anything. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Mama was like, so Mama would cook, and it's just the three of us, but she would cook with the intention that it might be 10 of us, because whoever passed through would, would stop by and get something. And that was the whole idea. It was always, our house was open to everybody else. And even in Kennedy Avenue, going back to the same freshers thing or whatever you want to call it, right? So we happen to have been one of the few people to have a television, right? So you would find, like, in the evening time, we would see everybody gather on the veranda to watch TV. We would just open the window, and the television would be on, and we'd open the window, and you'd almost have like a cinema outside.
Did you have those days as well? Let's just speak about the television, where you had to like go on the outside and fix the antenna.
Yes. I think that might have happened a couple times, Yeah, that might have happened a couple times. But it was so interesting because, we would just open the window, and it was like clockwork. Like, we expected everybody to come around, 6:47. That was the time everybody was going to come by. So by clockwork, we would just put on the TV, open the window, and, everybody in the area would just come and sit on the veranda and just be looking at television through the window through our house. And then you would pass and give them stuff. Everybody would share the meal for the night and whatever it is. And Mama would make sure everybody taken care of, even if they were not her kids or anything like that. And I think she was probably one of the first few people, if you want to put it that way, to like, have foster kids that came through. Like, people from the countryside who were going to go to school and had nowhere to stay. They stayed at home. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you, man, the amount of people who passed through the house and who lived in the house when they were going to school. It's amazing how Mama did it. And she was, like I said, is a single mom, but, through the blessings and the hard work, she just kept going and made sure that she was taking care of others, that she always used to say, it's God's children. Her children is God's children. That kind of makes me emotional now, because thinking about it and the people who passed through, and we never, she always told us to never treat them different. They were always like family. So we had chores to do, right? So she would drop a list of the things to do, like who was going to wash the plates, who was going to sweep, who was going to whatever it is. And we were on the list, even if we were her kids. So we all had our chores to do regardless of, It wasn't a situation if there was food and then, she would give us first and then none of that. All of us had to eat what was there and share it together. And that has kind of kept me going as well in humility, and to understand that, we look out for each other, So, to all those who passed through home and who was extended family, but like family, we appreciate that. Thank you. To my wonderful sister Liz, Debbie, Frank, Albert, those became staple. And today they're their family. There's nothing that separates us, the family. Okay. And, that was wonderful.
All right.
That was wonderful.
So now before we move on to, so you're in primary school, and of course we may skip the high school part.
No, we're coming to that.
No, but I wanted to ask you though, Nigel. So in terms of the characters in the streets of Roseau, because you're in Kennedy Avenue, it was like bubbling, and a lot was happening in that area. What can you remember about the characters in particular? What was happening, and and things like that? Mayday rally. Do you remember these things?
Let me see if I can rack back my brain a little bit. But characters in Roseau, that was definitely, a staple. And I'm trying to remember some of the character names.
So now, like Ugly Willie and
There was Ugly Wheelie.
Okay, look
There
at
was
blank.
shoot, man, the name's not
Look at
coming now,
blank.
which is not normal.
Charlie
I always
Moore.
have them.
Charlie Moore, to a certain extent, was a character.
Yes, 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 yes.
But there were a
Strange if
lot.
I was stranger if I was if I was the host talking to somebody, I remember the
You
names,
remember the names? Yes, yes.
But yeah, I mean there were characters around Windsor Park area and you know and around the general area that we looked out for, and they were part of the whole process.
All right.
I'm trying to remember some of the names, but trust me, there were a lot of them.
Anybody? Let me see if anybody's helping
There
us
was like
on the.
Simbot, of course, that
Yeah,
Solo sang
Simba.
about.
And
There were quite a few of them, and I think that was part of the whole growing up of the community, right? There were also some people who were not, mentally stable. Of course, we call them mad back then, but so you would have to look out for when they're coming through and make sure you were not in the area just to be safe. So but it was nice, man. It was nice. The vibes was nice, and the whole again because you're on the carnival route to Earth, even if in Kennedy Avenue, Hillsborough Street, that's carnival route even today. So again, I mean, all the activity would pass through in that particular area. So that made it even more special. Yeah.
Wow, Miss Maud was a wonderful soul. May her soul rest in peace. She was a mother to everyone. That's what Alvin Thomas is saying. Muriel Stewart is saying it appears that people before were naturally hospitable. And yeah, that's true. That's true. Nigel, I mean, so many messages are there. I'll look at carefully what I read. Me too much praise. Nah, just joking. I'm just joking. But Nigel, so then you sat the common entrance. That's what it was called back in the day, and then you went on to high school. Let us look at this journey.
Yes. So did the common entrance, and an interesting thing about the common entrance, I'll tell you. So I sat the common entrance, and I passed the common entrance. But
by the way, let me just stick a pin there. Wenceslas Banis is saying, congratulations, Nigel, well deserved. I love that name. Wenceslas.
Yeah, Wenceslas Banis was part of the whole idea, part of the whole growing up in Kennedy Avenue. Of course, we refer to him as Slash.
Oh, okay.
Slash was one of the originals,
Oh, yes, Slash. I never knew that Slash his name is Wenceslas.
Yes, that's his full name. Bon. So yes, he was part of, and we'll get to that part of the story when I became part of PAT because he was.
But we have so much to cover, so let's look at the common entrance and
so
go
on
into
and
high
so
school.
on. Yeah, so past the common entrance, the first time, but I don't know, maybe they said I was too young, so
you were too young.
Yes, I was too young.
So they skip you a lot at school.
So I'll tell you the interesting thing about it. When I started, I was like maybe 10 years. So it was felt I was probably too young, and so I kind of just stayed back in Rosa Boys School and did it the next year. So when I started secondary school, I started at 11, right? So I went to school at 11. SMA, yes, the St. Mary's Academy was where I went to. SMA. So at SMA. At SMA, Alvin. So I did 5 years at SMA. SMA was beautiful, man. Listen, I mean, that was the foundation, and I think that was the beginning of where I began in a way to kind of realize my literary skills in terms of writing and stuff like that, and in terms of being able to lead. So, very quickly, I kind of became the editor of the newspaper there. I kind of, the prefect thing and all the rest of it. For some reason, people felt like they saw something in me. So at school there, during the 5 years there, I found myself being involved in a lot of things. Even if I was still making sure the academics was there, but I found myself being involved in a lot of things. People like Giftus John, who was my teacher then. And I saw him during Independence. Hey, Giftus, nice man, appreciate it. So maybe saw something, other teachers saw something and felt like I I could contribute. So, got involved in the newspaper, got involved in the Young Cultural Dramatists, which was like a group, people like Wadix and Ole and Daryl Tulo and, all the others. I was part of that. Got involved in writing. Actually wrote my first play then while still at high school. And did a little bit of acting and a little bit of running around and stuff, during that time. Didn't get too much involved in the sports though, strangely enough. I mean, I played for my house, St. Ignatius House at SMA. So, did basketball, mainly athletics, did football as well. Did a little bit of cricket, but for some reason I always wanted to talk more than do. So during the game, I would be on the side doing my little commentaries. So that was the sports part of it. And then, like I said, the other parts was getting involved in the newspaper and making sure the newspaper was on. I think it was called the SMA Clarion or something like that. So we did the newspaper, and hey, high school was great.
All right,
high school was wonderful.
You can live I think you have said that name too many times now. Nigel, I mean, come on, who does that? I've heard that so many times.
Yes.
By the way, Z Lloyd, Nigel.
Z laid the foundation. Though.
Okay, Papa. Z is saying, not Z. Is it Z? Oh, Nigel, I lost it. I had some, yes. Someone is saying, remember, I thought it was Z Lloyd. Remember, we would run to the cinema after to see the end. I guess that was earlier when you were speaking.
Oh, yeah.
But to see the end, what does that signify? Is that you could not pay, so you have to go at the end? So they get the door?
Yeah, because just before the end of the movie, they'd open the door, they'd open the gate. So, so you don't have the money to pay to go in, so you'd wait towards the end when they open up the door. So you could run in to see it.
All right, so you went to an all boys
to see what was there.
Yeah, you went to an all boys high school, the St. Mary's Academy. They used to say smartest men alive. I'm not sure about that again. Yes. What was school life like? I mean, generally, you said you did not really partake in sports much. You were more on the sides in your own commentary and all of that. But generally, tell us about the SMA and how it was with the brothers. Back in the day, the discipline.
Yeah. I think, and let me say good morning to Brother Jermaine, and all the other brothers who were there at the time. But, I think what they did was to develop, they were looking to develop young men. They wanted to make sure that there was young men that when they graduated would have been able to contribute to the society. So the academics was important, but the morals, the ethics, the values was just as important. So service to others was very important to them as well. So they were developing young men that were going to take their place as future leaders in whatever sphere of life, whether it was the religious part, whether it was becoming teachers, whether it was policemen, whatever it is. But they made sure that they were developing young men that could take, that when you saw them, you knew that, hey, this guy went to SMA. And I think at the time, that's probably what you could easily identify someone, a young man who went to SMA, simply because of the way in which they would carry themselves. Even things like, you've heard enough stories of Brother Jimmy pinching your chest if your shirt was unbuttoned. That at the time seemed kind of punitive, but it helped instill that kind of discipline and the way in which you carry yourself, the way in which you dress. The fact that we had to pray before each class. Prayer became very important and became a foundation of those young men. Even when we had sports, we would pray before the activity. So that again became an essential part, that prayer is important in what you do. Hard work. There was a situation where there's always, you it's not failing. You don't fail if you didn't pass the test. I remember teachers would want to stay back and help you out in the afternoon, or even the brothers. Their home was almost like, if you needed something, you could go there. So to me, that's what SMA represented. It representing building for the future, laying the foundation that wherever you go, you could carry on, you could utilize what was given to you at SMA. And that to me is what SMA represents, you know, which I carried to grammar school when I started teaching there. I'll mention grammar school.
But you have to. I have to come to that, Nigel. I'm reading. I'm not sure if you've seen Chris Bugunu sent something, and he's saying, "Boy,
What is he saying now?
You have to help me with this one. Boy, I swear them SMA man things they did their best when the look, Nigel, I lost it. Oh my goodness, why is this up? Okay, when Dominica Grammar School continued to have more what vary? What's this?
More vary. Yeah, I mean, there's always a battle between SMA and grammar school. I mean, even sports time, you know, I mean, at the time, I remember guys like, you know, I mean, Alex was pretty fast, right? And we had Ian Blanchard and, you know, all those other guys there. So I remember sports days with the beautiful rivalry, you know, with Irving Guy and Wadix and Ian Blanchard and, you know, those guys competing against each other in the 100 meters and stuff like that for when it was, you know, sports day. So there was always that nice, beautiful rivalry between the two. Football was the same thing, you know. So there was always a nice connection, man, between all the schools.
That's good.
And I don't know if it still exists, although there was rivalry, but it was lovely competition, and we would look forward to those events where we're going to compete against each other.
For a lot of young people, the journey of adolescence is a defining moment. Was it that way for you? I mean, were you seeing the girls a lot more than you were seeing them before? Were you thinking about the girls? What was happening? Were you listening to a lot of music back in the day? Were you writing songs at the back of your exercise books? Tell us what was happening in your life.
I was. So I don't know, for some reason, I always like to have a balance. Whether it's by design or otherwise, I don't know. But there was always this idea of having a balance. So the academics were important, the school was important, but at the same time, the social part was also good. Again, like I said, because I had a bigger brother who probably may not have been like social in terms of being out there, you know, but it's partying and stuff like that. So I didn't have that to say I was going to go to a party with him. Okay. Or I was going to go to an outing with him, you know, go to a jam and stuff like that. So,
but were you one of the guys at the SMA who would pull up at the convent high school with your three-quarter pants and thinking you?
Well, that was necessary. You know, I mean, you had to either leave when you left school at 1. You had to make sure that you walked fast enough, so you could be in that little, you know, Virgin Lane area quickly enough, so you could see what's going on. You know, leave the blanks to be filled in. So you could see what was going on, you know, you had to do that. Or in the afternoon, you know, you would make sure that, you know, rather than go up straight Constitution Hill, you would pass the other way, you know, to pass up Bath Road side. So you could, you know, see what's happening and they could see what's happening. So that was necessary. I think that was part of the growth and the development, right? That was necessary to have that interaction, especially because, you know, you're in an all-boys school and in an all-girls school. So you don't have that level of interaction during the day as you'd probably have in grammar school. So you had to have that level of distraction here and there. But the focus, like I said, was always to have the balance. Mm-hmm. So although that was there and that was available, but I always try to ensure that balance remains. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you use the opportunity when there is sports or in, you know, afternoon time, you know, and so on. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you would have taken part in things like cross country. What was happening as well with the Grammar Academites, that rivalry between the SMA and the Dominica Grammar School? Tell us about that before. There's so many things that we have to cover, Nigel. I'm looking at the time. We're going to do our very best. I know I should have started at 8 o'clock.
Saying, man, this is the story.
I should have started at 8 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, let us story. But yeah, that rivalry. I mean, Grammar Academites came, you know, a little after, but that rivalry was there. In terms of, well, prior to Grammar Academics, of course, you had SMA by itself and grammar school by itself. And, you know, Brother Jimmy always wanted to make sure that, we defeated those guys. So he was very competitive on that level, but at the same time ensuring that we did it fairly, yeah? So that if we lost and he felt that we lost because we didn't do well, we would get the brunt of it. Not so much that, you know, to mention that they won. No, they didn't win. You guys lost because you didn't do ABCD. But yeah, so SMA was always fighting against the other teams. For some reason, everybody felt they could beat SMA. in whatever we were taking part in. So it was beautiful to see when, you know, Grammar Calamites came about, which was a blend between grammar school and SMA, you know, academy and grammar, and called Grammar Calamites. So
grammar
that was
and academy,
wonderful
not
to see.
academy and grammar. Grammar and academy. Let's get that straight. Grammar Academites.
Grammar school
first.
and then
Right.
the
Okay.
SMA.
So let's get
Yes.
that
Okay.
clear.
Yes. Of course, SMA kind of had a few more at the time, and the grammar school came back and have some more. So the Grammar Academy. So yeah, I mean, that was a great team. Man. That team did that team did very well in the football season. Nobody expected, you know, them to get to that level where they were in the first division, and you know, and beating up teams that you know, what we call Premier teams now at the time. So that was a nice journey there as well, you know. But I think for me, again, because you know, I graduated pretty young from SMA. So when I left SMA, I was actually maybe 15 or so, which is probably when you might find other students starting the school or in the middle of the school. So my journey has always been a pretty young one in terms of what I do. So even at that stage, I was still, you know, being involved in other things. I remember being involved with getting involved in PAT very early. Duncan Stowe at the time was directing a play at PAT. We'll get to PAT and my introduction to theatre, but in a sense, that's what it was. He was directing a play, Smile Orange, from Trevor Rowan, Jamaican playwright, and they were rehearsing at St. Gerard's Hall, which is of course right next to SMA at the time, and I just happened to, you know, pass through the area, and for some reason, I guess I just found myself thinking I could do this. And so I stuck around a little bit, and then, you know, I also like to dabble in technical stuff. So
but you love literature and history at school, right?
Oh, I love literature and history at school, man. That was, you know, literature, language, history. That was my, you know, my kind of passion. I did the arts at SMA, so didn't know the sciences. For some reason, I just couldn't figure out, you know. I'm not sure if I couldn't figure it out. I just felt like reading and trying to figure out what happened back then, and why it's not happening now, and how we got to where we are. And being able to write exposés and that just seemed kind of more interesting to me. So literature, history, language, those became my main focus, as well as the business subjects. So that's what I did there.
Okay. Tell us about C4 Call. I'm not rushing you, Nigel. I'm looking at the time.
No, because you have a lot to cover. So yes, so from high school, left SMA. I know you want to leave SMA, so I left SMA.
Thank you.
Say it one more time. I left SMA, and then of course went to, you know, Sixth Form College. That was another beautiful experience again, because there you met all kind of different people from different schools. From the, you know, Portsmouth Secondary, St. Joe, and everything else. Got connected with, you know, if Ackley, well, Philbert Aaron, Ambassador Aaron, became very tight, along with others that was there at school with me, people like Albert Tyson and Pasco, and, you know, others that I became very closely linked with. And then we formed a beautiful group up there. So at Sixth Form College, again, a wonderful experience. You know, I mean, Paul, Philip, Mikey at the time, Mikey Eugene, and quite a few other people that we kind of just linked nicely, Valda, Henry, and all the difficult people that you talk to right now today. So we were very closely knit. I formed a drama group at Sixth Form College. So that, again, the theatre continued. Did a play called Carnival Values there. That's probably my third or fourth play. Actually had it staged. Carnival City then was, you know, a technical wing grammar school, so had it staged on there during the carnival season. So, you know, people like Dr. Seja, who, you know, rest in peace as well, who, you know, was part of that production, and others like I just mentioned, Tyson, Pasco, Val, Helen Melu, and, you know, all the other people that were part of that. So I did that then again. Interestingly, although it was pretty young, but again, leading groups, and Sixth Form was nice, man. the dynamics of meeting other people from other schools and what we would do and how we would interact and how we would share with each other. And can't say anything about that experience but great things. There were other stories, of course, other stories within sixth form where, you probably would be like, Nigel again, that kind of thing. But apart from that, it was good. It was good. It was good. All the teachers that were there, people like, Mr. Volney, and then we had a few others that came through from out of Dominica, and the interactions we had with them and the discussions that we used to have. It was a fertile ground for development of young minds, because we would have discussions, on politics and on education, on reforms and things that could be done better, and the black power and empowering people. And so there was a lot of heavy discussions at sixth form. Yeah, we would meet after class and we would have those discussions, and
Nice. By the way, Carl Kofi James is saying, hey, watch what you guys say about DGS. Well, what Nigel says about DGS, yes.
Well, we have to, there are those who have to, and I understand, the DGS, I understand. But don't worry, Carl Kofi James. A great part of my journey and story was at DGS.
Yes, I'm going to come to that. You have to mention DGS a lot. And so Alvin Thomas said, Ora et Labora and all of that.
Yes, pray and work.
Motto.
Ora et Labora. That's how, SMA, that's what we do. We pray and we work.
Okay. So at that time now, Nigel is a man. Nigel has grown. Nigel has evolved, sort of. Nigel is more intelligent than he was even at the preschool level. What was your next journey? So you left the CIFO call. What was your next step?
So I left the CIFO call, and Mr. Anthony Lockett, who taught me at CIFO call, he was teaching general paper at CIFO call. Again, through our discussions and our interactions, and he just felt like, hey, I would love to have you on the staff. So, applied and everything else like everybody do. I applied both for SMA and for grammar school.
Say it again.
I applied to teach both at SMA and grammar school.
And you ended up at grammar school and you stayed there for 10 years?
Yes, I ended up at grammar school. And the interesting thing about it is I was offered the teaching job at both. And I ended up at grammar school for the simple reason that the grammar school offer came first, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So I was like, all right, cool, man. Because, again, I was pretty young. I started teaching when I was 17, by the way, right? So I was like, hey, yeah, cool. I can do that. So I ended up being at the grammar school. Mr. Lockett said, come over, and I came over. And those years at grammar school, let me tell you, those were beautiful, wonderful years at the grammar school. Again, came in touch with people like, Val Morilaw and Carol Sever Abraham, who also just got an award as well, Meritorious Service Award. So Carol Sever Abraham, Val Morilaw, people like Nicholas Goldberg, Mrs. Libla, Winsome Libla, you had Lawrence Packett, Shirley Bruni, Tusha, Edward Lawrence, Tusha.
We had a lot, yes.
Yeah, man. Jerry Lloyd, Saki. Saki morning, bro. Saki B morning. Philbert Aaron, of course. Mr. Atlee. So it was a nice and at that time, I think there was continued. I think one of the things that Mr. Lockett wanted, and Anthony Lockett wanted, was to ensure that we could bring across that same level of interaction that we had at sixth form to our students. So we wanted to make sure we had them discussing things and talking about issues and not just the books, but talking about issues and what they felt. And I remember in homeroom and stuff like that, like for the first period, we used to have students would be able to come and, say a news item, discuss a news item, talk about stuff, man, Well, you know the experience at DGS.
That was it. That was it.
You know the experience at DGS and what happened. So DGS was good. DGS was good, you know. I did 3 years there first, and then went off to Jamaica to do some studies. So in Jamaica, went to the School of Drama and UE as well. So he did the diploma part at UE Education, and then did the theater arts at the School of Drama in Jamaica. 3 years there. That was another beautiful experience because it allowed me to see the Caribbean in a different context. Meeting again with different Caribbean students in Jamaica was great. I still have some great friendships there from there. And just developing the whole theater arts by then. By then, I had written a number of plays, as directing, and I realized, listen, this is where I want to go. Not the traditional route of, you know, what everybody would expect you to go. So, you know, went there, did my studies in theater arts, specifically drama and education. So drama and education very quickly is how you utilize drama and dramatic techniques to teach other subjects. So how do you make maths more interesting? Well, hey, you try to utilize drama, you try to create little skits and little improvs on mathematical concepts. And that makes it more interesting for students.
So you mean I had a chance then to learn math because I never liked math.
Yes,
but you're telling me that we could have inculcated drama in this.
Utilize drama, you had a chance because, you know, students learn better by doing and by allowing it to be practical applications rather than this great theory out there and, you know, trying to figure out X plus Y and C squared and everything else. If you can bring it down and show them exactly what X plus Y is in terms of a practical setting and within a nice creative way, they'll be better able to grasp it. So specialized in that, did that. Years in Jamaica was you know, one of the better times. I always refer to Jamaica as a second home. So that was a great experience as well. And developed my skills, I guess, theatrical skills, directing skills, playwriting skills, and the education because, you know, did the diploma in education there as well. So wanted to make sure I had both. And came back and then did, you know, stayed at grammar school for another 7, 8, 9 years, whatever it was. During that time, because the journey is long and I know time is going, during that time, I started doing adult education. Like, you know, someone in the adult education division contacted me and, you know, wanted to see how they could help.
Just take a pin, just take a pause there. Let me just say that our guest is Nigel Francis. If you're just tuning in, if you're just viewing as well, Nigel Francis Esq is our guest today on Connecting the Dots. I just, you know, I had to let you know this. Nigel, by the way, before you continue, I don't want to interrupt you, but I seen something there from Leoma Joseph. Nigel, look at the live there. Leoma Joseph saying something. But Nigel, she complimenting me, man.
Say
what? No, I'm not reading. Nigel, read it.
Leoma, let me see if I can find it.
Leoma Joseph is saying about me and
professionalism and efficiency among many other positive traits make your program one of the best on DBS. That's why once I listen to you, my weekend is well spent.
Nigel, we can end now.
Thank you.
We can end now.
I agree with you.
No, but thank you.
I turn in back course for a second. I agree with you, Leoma. Thank you for listening and connecting. Yes.
Yeah, but let's continue, Nigel.
She ensures that it happens beautifully. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Nigel. But let's continue because, I mean, Nigel, I want to tie in your love for culture. You have an affinity for culture. Of course, you did a lot and you still continue to do a lot, you know, in terms of, you know, the arts. But what? Tell us about that connection. Why did you, and if you can tie it into your boyhood days when you're growing up, why the arts? What fascinated you about this?
I think there was always an interesting thing of trying to be someone else for a minute. And again, it goes back to, I guess, you know, the whole thing about reading a lot and different characters that you saw when you were reading and trying to imagine what they would be like and what they were doing. And I was also very imaginative in the sense that I would sit a lot and kind of think of things and how it could be and should be and so on, right? So the arts represents to me the opportunity for someone to become someone else, to have that power to be someone else for a period of time. So if it's in a play, for example, you have that opportunity to become a character that's you're able to do things that in your own personal life, in your real life, you're not able to do. And you're able to experience that. So you're able to experience other things and other ways of what people would do in that situation. It also represents to me that that creative side, that is so powerful, man. Someone who is able to express themselves in other ways, that person has power. Because, for example, right, if I was to write a play where I'm able to talk about issues in the country and to give 4 or 5 or 6 people that opportunity to become either the prime minister or to become a priest or to become whatever characters there are in the play and to express themselves and what they think should happen, that person is able to say so much more than if it was just any ordinary, and I don't use the word ordinary, but in any other setting. So the arts gives you that opportunity to one, say what other people want to say, to become other people for a period of time, to feel that power, to have that power, knowing that it's not you, but you're just portraying someone else. I'm one of those who firmly believe that there is a role for the arts in education, and that if we were to utilize it a lot more, then education would become so much simpler. Education would become so much more enjoyable. Education would allow us to do so much more. I mean, with music in schools, with drama in schools, with drumming in schools, with poetry in schools, you develop students who have a greater appreciation for the wholesome, for the whole, and not just,
Said.
It's powerful.
Well said. I love this, Nigel.
And I've always had that connection. Deep. I've always felt that connection between education and arts is so important. I mean, even probably you, when you're writing a poem, you feel so powerful. You're able to express things that you probably would not be able to express in a normal setting. You're able to capture ideas and capture, events and express it in a different way. And when somebody reads it, they're like, yeah, that's what it's all about. And it gives you that sense of serenity. It gives you that sense of like you're in a different space. You're just in a different space when you're involved in a creative process. You're in a totally different space, and it gives you the opportunity to share with others, and that's what makes it so powerful.
Wow. By the way, Jokam is saying, is this Jokam? Yes, I think it's Jokam. Is it Jokam?
Jokam.
Yes,
Let's see if it's Jokam.
I went to both. He said he went to both grammar school and St. Mary's Academy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's good.
So he has a link between the both, That's wonderful. Oh, Miss Bruni Shirley, good morning to you, my dear. Shirley is saying, congratulations, Nigel. Well-deserved award. You're so talented yet so humble. Always
Shirley Bruni?
Yes,
she thought, that's my teacher, man.
Yeah, man.
Those were the days, my friend. Those were the days, eh?
Yes. Those were the beautiful days at DGS, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, we had wonderful
Terry Olivachi Marie as well, is also saying, because we taught at grammar school together, so she's mentioning that as well. We had an awesome time there. Yeah, so I go back to co-host.
No, it's all right. But, of course, Nigel. Now, Nigel, I'm listening to you, and I'm really taking in a lot of what you are saying, and it just underscores, the fact that Nigel is and I'm studying Dominican, Nigel. You have done so much. I want to stay a little on because you worked as well at the cultural division.
Yes.
You ready to go you ready to go there, or in terms of your journey?
Yeah, man.
Is it time to go there?
No,
because you have to talk about your family. You have to talk about so many other things.
No. We've captured grammar school and what happened there at grammar school. As I was mentioning, like even during the time I was at grammar school, got involved in adult education, like I mentioned. So Taught adult education classes, and also, probably one of the first set of instructors to ensure that those, because we had a situation where we had adult education officers who had been in the service for experience and everything else, but didn't have the necessary qualifications in terms of CXC subjects and stuff like that. So created a program where they were able to go ahead and we did afternoon classes. So created afternoon classes for them at the SMA. Thanks to Brother Jimmy for allowing us to use his room then. Where I was able to go ahead and I taught them language, principles of business, social studies. So they were able to go ahead and get their CXC subjects. So that to me was beautiful, because I was again giving back, to spare voluntary. So giving back to them, and quite a few of them still meet me today. Some of them are in some good positions, and said, you laid the foundation, because after that I went on to do other subjects and so on. Dominica Public Service, again, if Thomas later, Alvin Thomas and so on. Thanks for allowing me to use there as well. I created the afternoon, evening classes.
The same Alvin Thomas, right?
The same Alvin Thomas, that was late.
That was supposed to be a co-host.
he was late again this morning. And if Thomas later and the others allowed me to use it downstairs, where I created evening classes, where people, working professionals could come to do their CXC subjects. And then later on, even A-levels, if people like Tusha, who did the general paper there. So that again was giving back and ensuring that we were part of the whole process of making things happen. And then, like you mentioned, went to cultural division and, met some wonderful souls there, Pearl Christian, Raymond Lawrence, Daryl Phillip was also there, was in Jamaica together with me at the time, Ian Burton, and, others who came along. And at the cultural division, had, an opportunity to continue developing the cultural aspect. By then, I was, artistic director of People's Action Theatre, because Alvin had moved to Jamaica and was in Jamaica, so took over PAT, and at the same time was able to introduce. So we had districts, and I was out in the southeast, but also around the island. So I would find myself in the afternoon, from 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 12 midday, having to drive up all the way to, to the southeast, to the different primary schools, to introduce drama to them in the school, work with the teachers there to get them to do drama in the schools. And I should have mentioned previous, just to jump back quick to grammar school and Mr. Lockhart. Huge thanks to Mr. Lockhart, who saw the vision.
Mr. Lockhart is listening,
Yeah. He saw the vision of the arts, because he's a writer, so obviously he knows the power of the arts, and felt like, so grammar school became the first school to introduce drama into schools, and was able to be the drama teacher there, obviously, because I did drama, so was able to teach drama at the grammar school, and that to me was a change, was a changer, in the education system. I wish it had continued, and by now would have had drama throughout the schools. But thanks to him for that vision and for allowing me that opportunity. So at the cultural division, I continued that in terms of going through all the different schools in the different districts, teaching drama to the teachers, so that when I leave, they could continue to the students. The students used to enjoy those sessions. So that went on for the years that I was at the cultural division. Raymond and I also came together, and I say, hey, Raymond, something, we have been having the Old Mass, kind of scattered around. Why don't we have an Old Mass festival? So the first Old Mass festival was at the Newtown Savannah, done by the cultural division, where we had all the groups come together during Carnival to create the Old Mass festival, where they would have, all the different traditional costumes and bands and stuff. So, coordinated that, put that together. At the cultural division, I found myself working closely with the Carnival organizing committee at the time. So eventually ended up being the chairman of the Queen Show committee, which I did for a number of years. Introduced the village carnivals, the village launching of the contestants, because I felt that was a way of generating revenue and generating interest. So almost like, the young lady representing their village and their community. So I created the launching of the contestants in the different
Okay,
villages.
clap in Nigel. When Nigel, you seriously, Nigel. I'm so happy that you are the guest today because people have to
Well,
understand and
it's good
remember
to
these
share,
things.
right? It's good to share. It's good to share. It's good to share. But the contribution continues, man. The contribution continues. So we did the village launching of carnivals, and then, also ensured that we could have on the Sunday, and what I wanted to have happen on the Sunday, which kind of disappeared, was to have the National Carnival celebration festival where all the different winners and the different groups would come down on that Sunday because there was a void to have that during the carnival on this carnival Sunday. That happened for a couple of years. I guess it's disappeared as well. Sometimes the vision is there and then you do it, and then those who don't have it or have other visions go in different direction, which is cool. So, all that happened during the time at Cultural Division. Continued working with theatrical groups, represented Dominic at Carrie Fester, did plays, a number of plays at the time.
But Nigel, even as you're talking about plays, give us an idea. Well, in terms of the vibrancy of the theatrical, the arts, that creative industry. Tell us what was happening at the time, because of course we had, apart from you as a writer, we had other writers as well.
Yes,
and
theatrical
productions, that was booming. So give us a sense of what was happening back in the day from your lens, because you're integrally involved.
Booming, man. That was good because you had Steve Hyacinth was doing his thing in New Dimensions Theater. You had other groups here and there, Appearing Expressions, that kind of disappeared a little bit with Clement Baba Richards and others. You even had little villages doing their own thing. So you
Bernard
find
Frampton as well was involved in this. Alex Powell, Bruno.
Yes. So you would find almost like every other month there would have been a play going on. Of course, we had the use of AROC at the time, so that helped a lot. Even St. Gerard's Hall was being used, Parish Hall was being used. I knew New Dimensions Theatre utilized Goodwill Secondary School a lot as well. So almost every other month there was some kind of production going on, some kind of play happening. And that to me was important because, again, as playwrights, we try to be similar to Calypsonians and, say what's going on in the country, the issues at the time, and to talk about the things other people may not want to talk about, to look at different themes and different issues within the country and out of the country as well. So that, to me was important because people were getting, one, they were getting somewhere to go. Two, we were allowing, other young people to develop their skill sets, in theater and other things. And three, then you got an opportunity to discuss things because, during intermission, you could talk about it with others. It was healthy discussion, not so much fighting as we have today. It was healthy discussion. We were disagreeing with things and still being able to agree in terms of what we need to do to move forward. So that, again, played an important part. If you look at all the plays that was done during that time, it allowed people to discuss issues and discuss things. Also at the Cultural Division at the time, I created a stage production team because I felt, stage production was important. Stage management was important. So I created a stage production team, got T-shirts for them and everything. And I had sessions with them on how to manage the stage and how to get, production rolling quickly. I'm happy to see that it's continuing today. So you have the same team and others who have joined. Steve Hyacinth continued that and has been a great job. So the production team continues. That was important to bring that level of professionalism to productions. So, that happened as well. It was really, the whole idea was to ensure that we could have, as Leona said, professionalism within the arts, and that people could begin to see it as a viable option to either earn income or to, develop young people. Because there's nothing better than when people came to rehearsals, man. When they would, the fact that you knew every Tuesday or Thursday or whatever it is, you had rehearsals to go to for this play. Again, it lends in the discipline. It helps in the focus. It helps in in ensuring, time management, and, all the other things all the other intangibles. It helps in developing that. So that was necessary. That was necessary. So
Nigel,
cultural division was good.
Nigel, you were very busy, and you still found time to become a broadcaster and a commentator. Where did you find that time, and how was that stint for you?
I found a little time to dabble into that. Thanks to Curtis Matthew, who what was it? Sometime in the 90s, or I don't remember what time it was anyway. But he was doing Calypso Night, and I had always been involved in Calypso. I used to be a Calypso judge, and NC was in my backyard, so I used to be always around NC and Solo and other Calypsonians, throwing in my little piece on what I think the line should be or shouldn't be and stuff like that, because of my literary skills and stuff. So he was doing Calypso nights. I had a lot of Calypso music too, so I used to kind of, allow him to use some of them and suggest to him, hey, why don't we have this person on and this person on and so on and so on. So after a while, he felt like, hey, let me let you run the program, Calypso Nights, which was on Mondays. So every Monday we had Calypso Night. So I did that for a number of years, and for some reason, I don't know, one morning, was it a morning or night? I think it was a morning, man. I was just like, hey, come and read sports because of whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I came in the morning, I prepared the night before, and I guess I kind of twisted it a little. Again, using the theater and using the arts. So instead of just reading it plain sports, I kind of put a little creativity in there and, little inserts here and there to make it more attractive before we actually got into the story itself. And seemed to have worked and started doing sports. And then, of course, the outside broadcasts that came on as well. Sports commentary, did football commentary, volleyball, basketball, netball, whatever it is. And then the outside broadcast with people like Sherman, who was there at the time, who said, come and be part of the process. And my dear friend Kurt Matthew, rest in peace, one of the best. I remember Kurt and I, man, we used to be doing the at that time, DBS could say, hey boy, boy, we don't never do eliminations, I say, serious, only squad. And he say, yeah, man. So we started doing eliminations, started from eliminations, then we started doing the different tents, Simsies at the time, of course, rest in peace, Simsies as well. Simsies used to have that was the other tent at the time. So we would go there and, Kurt and I would stay there all 1-2 o'clock, and next morning we back again. And I think for me, again, it was, I saw it as art. I saw it as being able to utilize whatever was given to me to share with others. So it was, I'm not going to say it was tiring, but it was a lot. But it wasn't tiring for some reason, because it was me, again, giving back. It was me utilizing what Mama, my dear mom, had always instilled in us, the sharing with others, the giving back, the being there, and just giving it your all. So that's what I was doing. That's what I continue to do.
Wow, Nigel, we still have some time. What a story. Let me see. Let me just look at the book. You want to help us look at the book, Nigel, or you want to just turn your throne?
Well, yes, I think
you want to just turn your throne. There's a lot.
Zazil is saying, Nigel, remember we had library at your home? Yes, we did. We did have library at our home. Again, Mama opening up a house to everybody else, so we still have library. Who else? Cyril Jones, good morning, joining from Cole, Toronto. Chris Bugunu is saying, besides being my English teacher, Sir Francis was also my drama teacher. Thank you, Chris.
This one warms my heart, Nigel.
Tell me.
Someone I think it's Agnes Benjamin, it says. Thank you, Mr. Francis, for your willingness to help me and the other students at the Dominic Grammar School in 1984. Wow.
Yeah.
Your award is well deserving, I will forever be thankful to you. This is.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate all the beautiful sentiments and everything else, and it's giving back. Thanks to my dear mom.
I know we have a lot of messages. We want to read a few, but let's go to Nigel Francis, the father. Nigel Francis, the husband. Nigel Francis, who comes from this very large family now. On his wife's side as well. Tell us about that family, man.
That family man. Well, yeah, I mean, again, striking the balance, right? So, um, even if I was doing all what I was doing, but you also had to ensure that there was that other side of the of life. So, one of the things I also didn't mention was like, I think it was in 1989 or something. We had the Year of Environment and Shelter. Um,
Yes.
so yes, so wrote a play called Swine and the Pearl along with Atlee Aaron, and we presented that, and that was went down pretty well. I was also on the reunion committee in 1988 and whatever it is. I'm saying that to see how the family link started. So we had that event, and then of course at that event they had different people, different functions and stuff like that. And I remember seeing this girl across the street or something like that, across the room. And I said, "Wow, it's a beautiful girl. She looks good," and all the rest of it, you know. It is your story outside there now too.
Yes.
So
Tell us.
your story outside it is okay. So anyway, back in the 90s or whatever it was, yes, I met Elise, and you know, the rest is history. So that makes it very short, Elise. I don't give them all. I don't give them the secret, okay? So and where we met and all the rest of it.
But you were not, you were not one who had to write a letter to Elise's father, right? That
Well,
was for Billy.
thanks to Billy. Yes,
Okay.
thanks to
Okay.
Billy. Billy had kind of paved the way. So after Billy wrote his letter, and then who was next? Gerard came next, and Gerard didn't have to write a letter, but he
So
had
who's
to do certain
Chape?
things. Yeah, no, hold on. Each person had to do certain things, you know.
Eh.
So Billy wrote his letter. He moved on, and then Gerard came, and Gerard didn't have to write a letter though. Gerard had to um, fix the car, fix the van, because Gerard is a mechanic guy, you know. So that was his part. So he had to always be there to fix up the car. So that was his role. So he went, and then of course after that, you know, I came, and then you know, I had to I had to drive up repeatedly up to the on that big road up there, and so my part was taking care of other things too, you know, which we will mention. But yes, so met Elise, and then somewhere in 1991 or whatever the case is, and that's how the family started. That part of the family started. Of course, been married now for what 28 years. So celebrating 28th anniversary, getting on the 29. So that's been beautiful. That's been lovely. You know, two lovely daughters as well, that you happen to have met. One is out at college now doing her studies and wants to do medicine. Hope that works out well for her. The other one is at middle school, getting ready to head into high school. So that side of the family, again, trying to maintain that part. So I've always tried to be there for them and to do what's best by them. And then we have the other extended family that came about, you know, because, you know, once you get into the Matthew family, you get into the entire family. You have no choice. So the whole family became family.
Yeah.
And of course, my brother, sister, and the other sisters that I have from my dad's side as well. So it's a pretty large family. And when we get together, we celebrate the best way we can.
Boy, Nigel, you have a story. Nigel, there's still much. There's more to cover, Nigel. Nigel, you have a story. Nigel Ubo.
Yeah,
Wow.
but you know,
Nigel,
throughout this, go ahead.
when you sit back and you reflect on your life as a little boy, freshers back in the day, and you look at all what you have achieved throughout, you know, at school, you know, and outside of school, going to Jamaica and, you know, for studies and all of that. When you think in your moments of solitude, what comes to mind? Of course, your mother has passed, and you're very, very close to your mom. So that,
Yes.
I'm sure, will always be, you know, forever etched in your memory, the love that
Oh,
you
yeah.
receive from your mom.
Oh yes, oh yes.
But in your moments of solitude, you know, what really comes to mind when you reflect on your journey?
I think whatever I do it for her. In the sense that everybody who knew Miss Maud always said how pleasant she was, how helpful she was, how much she loved to give to people, and how peaceful she was, how blessed and everything else. So whatever I do, I always do it with her in mind, that that legacy will continue. So in my moments of reflection and the journey, I tell myself that I'm doing this because I want to make sure that whoever follows me, or whoever is associated with me, can continue on that path, can continue to share love for God, love for family, love for country has always been, important to me. And even when I left Dominica, I said I'm leaving physical distance, but that connection has to remain.
It has to remain.
And that positivity has to remain.
I was trying to get you to cry for some reason. but let me ask you a question, and probably there I will feel it. So Nigel, of course, you would have visited a lot, quite a few times since your mom passed. But this time, in October, you came to Dominica. You had to receive a Meritorious Service Award. You landed. You reached at home. You opened the door. I'm sure this was somewhat I don't know, emotional for you, because your mother was not there to see you receive that award. Just take us back.
It was.
My little play with Nigel.
No, it was. It was because she was a very big supporter in terms of me doing the arts and being in plays, and she would always tell people, Nigel have a play, Nigel doing a play, Nigel. No, that's Nigel talking on the radio, isn't it? So she would always, that support was always there. So it was emotional. Unfortunately, my sister could not have been there. So my brother was the one that was there lending the support and representing the family, if you want. Of course, along with Alice and the rest of them. But it was because I know how proud she would have been, proud yet humble. I know how she would have been smiling, and those who came home to say congratulations. I know how she would have welcomed them, and I know what it would have meant to her. I know she would have cried. So it was emotional, especially when the citation was being read, and you're hearing what you've done, although you know what you've done, but hearing it being read and knowing how she would have been in that audience, sitting there, and she would always say, my Nigel. She would always say, that's my Nigel, my Nigel, So that was emotional for me, definitely. And but at the same time, what was good about it was that I still felt her presence, and because Mama always had a smile to her. So people say I always smile too, but Mama always had a smile. So that kind of also made me feel like she was there with me, and
so you're there at the foot of the steps on the grass, of course, waiting to go up the steps to receive this medal, and your mother is on your mind as well.
Yes,
that's good, Nigel.
Yes. As I'm there listening to the citation, I'm hearing her. I'm hearing her in the background saying, boy, Nigel, imagine, Nigel, you're getting an award, because that's what she probably would have said, So I'm standing there and listening to that, and also hearing her and having the strength to go up there and take it, take the award from the president and everything else for the contribution and work that you've done. And emotional, but for those who know me, those who know me very well, crying has not really been one of my things.
Yes, but both of us can't be crying. The next thing you start to cry, I myself cry.
Nah, man. The emotion has always been there. The outward expression is still there. Yeah. But man, it was definitely one of those moments when I was like, damn, I wish she was here.
Flanked by really Billy Doctor and Curtis Matthew, Esquire.
Yes.
Nigel, as we end, is there a Bible verse that sticks with you, that helps you on your journey, or a verse somewhere, maybe a quotation or a line in a song? What for you, is this quotation or this verse that helps you forward on your journey?
Believe it or not, I'm not even sure where that saying came from, but it's always be like, hey, why worry when you can pray?
Why worry when you can pray? That's
it keeps me going. And it's along the same phrase of "Don't worry, everything's gonna be all right," like oh man, oh don't worry about the thing, everything's gonna be all right. Um, tomorrow is not promised, so do what you can do today, and more importantly, just be humble in what you do. It's probably the very first time I'm sharing all of this.
And there's so much more you have not even shared, There's so many
much more that
areas
hasn't
where
been
we have
shared
not
about
even
the
touched.
journey and the story. There's so much more that hasn't been shared about.
Because you continue to help Dominica a lot as well. You're always there when it comes to relief efforts. You're always there when it comes to, assisting in any way, a Dominican or Dominicans, Nigel. We not even talk about this aspect of it.
Yeah, I know. We haven't even touched about my time here in Florida.
Yeah, and here's what you're doing.
Continuing to contribute whatever way I can, When I came here, I had a theater group here as well, made up of Caribbean nationals, went around doing, plays, took the play to, Texas and then New Jersey. And so the work continues, the journey continues. Receiving the Meritorious Award, and let me say congratulations to all the others who received it as well. And receiving this award is just, I guess fuel. We got to keep the work going. We have to keep Dominica where we're supposed to. Positivity. Yes, allow ourselves to have discussions, but hey, there's no place like Dominica. Trust me. So, we have to continue to elevate it and do what's right by it.
Nigel Francis Esquire, a distinguished son of the soil. Nigel, throughout the other programs, obviously, even if you're not the official guest, we will get more of your story. So that's all right, because there's so much, as I said, that we haven't even covered. And I congratulate you, Nigel. I know you have a lot of congratulations. I find it was too many congratulations. What should I say? Nah, just joking. But Nigel, I mean, you're really.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, you're really a big deal, man, Nigel. You are a big deal. I'm not just saying this. This is no flattery there. I mean, you have done so much, and I really wanted people to understand, especially those who did not know, what you have done and what you continue to do. So you deserve this award. You definitely deserve this award. All the best. There's a saying that the reward for hard work is more hard work, but Nigel,
it's more hard work, right?
We
have some things to talk
and
about.
there are things coming up, eh?
Yes.
Nigel, so, we have to end.
The journey continues, man.
We have to end. But
yes.
We'll continue.
DJ Mystic, listen, appreciate it. I know we connected. I'm looking into the stuff you sent for me. I really need it. So let's connect. Give me a call. Let's talk. But the journey continues. Back to co-host. Thank you for everyone who joined me in Connecting the Dots. Don't forget next week we're back again.
Yeah, so many messages. I know you tried to dodge it because you gave me some names that I said no, Nigel. It's your turn. We have to do this. Yeah, and I'm very pleased that I did this. I'll go back and listen to it. I learned a lot from it as well.
To make sure I became the guest.
Yes. The no-show guy. I hope I did a good job. I hope I did a good job. Nigel, you take care. The SMA old boy.
Right? Yes, SMA for sure. We'll link again next week.
All right, that's where we come to the end of Connecting the Dots for today. We'll do it again next week, God willing. All the best.
Another edition.
It's sweet, chronics, your figgy.
DG Fun Time. Let's go.